Welcome to Off the Roster, brought to you by our founding partner, Proline. Must be 18 or older to bet in store, 19 or older to bet online, and for Ontario residents only. Thank you for joining us wherever that may be in the world. I'm Lindsay Dunn, alongside my pals Cabbie and Dan Riccio, and we are in a snow globe of hell in Toronto. That is an exaggeration.
Yep.
Yeah, like, it's cold, it's blistery, but hey, it's worse in other places in the world. But if you are in the GTA in Toronto, please drive safe, bundle up, have good times. Thank you for joining us because, guys, today, hell of a show as always. We have Toronto Blue Jays, former Toronto Blue Jay, and a fan favorite, Vernon Wells. Cannot wait to talk a lot of baseball with him, but also about everything else in life. He's a hilarious man. Then we have to talk about some game that's happening in Vegas today between the Leafs and, I don't know, some guy named Mitch Marner. I don't think anybody's heard about this for the last 5 months. So we will be talking about it for the first time. But let's start off in Indianapolis, where the Toronto Raptors took on former Raptor Pascal Siakam and the Indiana Pacers. Bit of a wild, emotional ride. They were without a number of players. Let me read the notes. We have Jakob Poeltl, no RJ. There was no IQ, no Garrett Temple, no offense. I know he doesn't see a lot of numbers, minutes, Jacoby, and then Jamison Battle. He got the second start for himself in this season, but then unfortunately he got injured in the third quarter. So Raptors up by as much as 27, almost lost it, but they got the W. Big game for Gradey. He needed this, getting his first career double-double. And guess what he got, guys? He got the chain.
Yes, he did.
Earned it.
Yeah, he earned it. That chain led to a different photo than we normally see from him, where he's normally flexing because we got
he's getting one of these.
It looks like the Ultimate Warrior like that. You know, he's fired up with that chain around his neck.
And then Scotty's got, what is it, the 24-inch pythons? Like, homie is jacked.
Jamal Shed doesn't quite have the triceps that Gradey Dick was showing in that earlier photo this year.
The definition yet, but it's coming. I'm sure he's working at doing diamond push-ups just before the next photo.
Oh, I love it so much. Like I mentioned, Gradey had a great game yesterday, much needed for him. Here's what he had to say after the game.
I think my activity. Sorry, I just lifted. No, I think my activity. Coach preaches it, every single game. We come out with that. I told you at halftime with energy, and we punch first, and good things happen to us. And when I do that personally, good things happen to me when I buy into the defensive end first, and help that kind of translate to my offense. And I just feel free out there, really.
Take a breath.
Bro just lifted. He just lifted.
I mean, the dude was out there just sprinting all game. So, it's understandable how he come to the podium just short of breath.
Did he do a post-game lift, like after the celebration
That's what he said.
With the chain? And he's just like, you know what, before I go to the media, let me just fit in some deadlifts here, we got to get in a little lift before the plane ride.
Well, because I was confused. I'm like, why is he out of breath? He went and they had the celebration. So then I went and watched the video, and then I kept listening to that clip over and over again. He's like, oh, he just lifted. Good on him. Like you mentioned, bro was running all over the court, making shots, having some great defensive plays, and then he went and lifted. So, damn, what did you make of Gradey's great performance yesterday? A very much needed performance by him.
Yeah, long time coming. Gradey Dick, his first round pick by this team, and they have wanted him to be that 3-point shooter that really spreads the offense, spreads the floor, and just adds a different element for this group. And it hasn't developed, but he's still young. He's just in his third year. What's been concerning is that, his minutes have dropped this year. He hasn't been as impactful even as he was in his sophomore season. This is the best game he's had maybe since early last season, easily the best game he had this year with the double-double and playing 30 minutes. Darko noticed he was hot, and he just kept going to him all night long, and Gradey fed off that. So these are all positives for the Raptors with Gradey Dick. And I think, ultimately, you look at his entire profile, and defensively, he seems to have made strides, as he talked about there in that post-game clip. He shows some good offensive awareness as well as cuts to the basket. He was scoring a lot in the paint, not from beyond the arc like we had expected it to, but he was 1 of 5 from 3. So that's really, if he can keep all this and get that 3-point shooting that the Raptors drafted him for, then we're talking about a player that can be really valuable as this rebuild continues.
In the on-court interview after the game with Kayla Gray, Brandon Ingram said Gradey Dick was the first at shoot around that morning, and I bet that continues because if big fella you're dropping what is it a 21 and 11, that behavior will replicate itself. I really was really impressed with Gradey, and more so just how the Raptors were able to come out of the gate just firing. What are they? 72.7% from the field in the first quarter to rack up 39 points. And that's where Gradey really established himself in that first quarter. But Scotty Barnes is the Ferrari of this. He is a Ferrari engine of this Raptors European led car. I'm mixing up my analogies here, but Scotty Barnes just continues to evolve as a triple-double threat every night. He finished with 26 points, 13 assists, orchestrating the offense with elite vision. He has shades of LeBron James because of his size and because of his playmaking ability. LeBron in context in Miami. LeBron shades. Like a little.
So prime LeBron James, great. This is amazing. Prime.
Man, remember that LeBron was shooting like 60%.
I'll take it.
Scotty had an efficient night, 10 for 16 from the field.
It was unreal. Yeah.
I like there was a moment where Gradey Dick set a high screen, and then Barnes just took it right down Meridian Street. It seemed like the dunks were so effortless for him, just driving right down the middle of the paint, just bang, bang, bang. And they had great chemistry together. I mean, Scotty Barnes and Gradey Dick. There was another moment in the fourth quarter where Pascal slips on a drive. Scotty Barnes just grabs it and just sprints down to the other end. Raptors fast break. He had a nice, and this is a little bit of the shade of LeBron James, had a nice no-look pass with his left to Gradey Dick, who just in stride just finishes with the layup. The Raptors had 20 fast break points. It was just great to see Scotty continue to evolve. Listen, this guy's going to be an all-NBA first team. All-NBA player. Definitely all NBA first team as he continues to lead the league in stocks. It was great to see Gradey Dick have his best game. And we mentioned this in the chat, his best game this season since game 1 against Atlanta. Yeah. So you earn the chain, big fella, and you earn our praise on off the roster today, young man. Lindsay, did anybody impress you other than Gradey Dick last night?
Yeah, I love it. I felt it was a really nice team performance. Thank you for asking. I have to give a tiny shout out to Ochai Agbaji, who has had a terrible season from beyond the arc, shooting 16% from the arc going into yesterday's game. And then he gets in and hits back-to-back threes, much needed back-to-back threes to keep that momentum going. Right after that, he had some great defensive moments as well. But Jamison Battle, although he got hurt in that third quarter, for just having his second start since the last time he started was back in early November for the Raptors, he has always stayed ready. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but he goes in, he hits a nice crisp 3. He was shooting pretty great. And let me quickly take a look. Yeah, it was 2-for, 1 of 2. He had a number of assists, and he ended with plus 24 before he had to leave the game with injury. He is somebody that always has made an impact when he gets that moment. And that's the thing when you're like, oh my God, people going into this game thought the sky was falling because so many people were hurt. Look at the depth of this team. That is what really had me excited about this, because people thought that they were going to get smoked by the Pacers, even though the Pacers have not had the best season. We know this, a historically worse season for the franchise. But they showed up, they showed out, and they really were passing the rock around, and people lived up to that moment. Yes, Cabbie.
Let me follow you on that, Linz. We were worried in the fourth quarter, though. I mean, the Pacers were down as many as 27 in the game because Toronto had scored 39 in the first quarter. But they went on multiple. Toronto, I think, was 2 for 10 at one point, and just Pascal
they were 1 of 13 from 3 at one point in the second half.
Right. And then Pascal and Andrew Nebhart just chipped away. Pascal was dropping threes. Nebhart was driving to the hoop. Oh, yeah. The Pacers had a mini 7-0 run, which cut the lead to 100 to 95. The Raptors led at that point. They struggled, and Toronto struggled, and they also got stymied by like the Pacers zone defense in the fourth, and it took Jamal Shead dropping a three, and then Brandon Ingram dropping a three off a jump ball, boom, open in the corner. Then Brandon Ingram dropping another three to relieve some pressure. I was worried because I was like, oh man, are we going to collapse in the fourth? But credit to the defense that held Indiana to 18 points in the first quarter and 23 points in the fourth quarter. Raptors hang on. But it got dicey, and I don't know if you guys were as worried as I was watching at home last night. But it got dicey in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, I absolutely put
never in doubt. I don't know.
Never in doubt. All right.
Yeah, don't bring up the receipts from Dan where he jinxed the team. And
I was just.
Way that let them win.
I may or may not have said in the group chat that it felt like the Orlando game from a little while ago, where the Raptors flipped the script on a over 20-point deficit on the Magic and ended up pulling it out in the fourth quarter. But it was a nice way to hold on. And like Brandon Ingram, for all there's great performances around the lineup, but like BI 30 points, and it just kind of feels like a day that ends in Y. Like that's just what this guy does now for this team.
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice. A day that ends in Y. That was fun. Man, you guys always say stuff like that was really
well
fun.
Done.
Yeah. I'm happy for the team. And the thing is, I'm so conflicted watching that game because Andrew Nemhard, lovely Canadian, lovely person, friend of the show. We had him on, Pascal Siakam, also like friend of the show. Will be on Monday for an exclusive interview. But just, you want them to succeed, but you also don't want them to beat that team that you're covering, but I also didn't want them to lose by 27 points. But then I was like, okay, please don't come back and beat the Raptors. Like, come on, guys, slow it down. But it's nice to see them have a little bit of a better game in that second half, but not too great that they overtook the Raptors. But something that is going to overtake the internet today in Raptors fandom is head coach Darko Rajakovic having the moment of the game. If you have not seen it, if you are listening, please go check us out on YouTube right now, because Darko has become a bit of a viral moment because of his, watch this reaction.
Over here. See?
What are these facial expressions?
He's talking to Shed, and you have 18 expressions in 5 seconds. So guys, what is he saying to Shed?
The nonverbal communication is elite, and it's like there's no nuance. It's just all like, hey bro, like we talked, hey, come here. We talked about this. Did we see?
Yeah.
I told you, see?
I told you. Yeah. See, it's
yeah,
very much an I told you so vibe. This is Darko being like, come here. See, what did I tell you about espresso before the game? Yeah. See, you're feeling it now, right? Yeah. Espresso before the game. It'll get you going.
As a parent, I look at this as like these nonverbal facial expressions to like, as we tell our kids about just staying away from things that are hot. Don't go near the counter. Don't go in the kitchen. Don't go with anything near anything sharp. And then when something happens, a kid pulls, the toaster down from the counter. See, it hurts. Yeah, you're crying. Yeah, I mean that's what it says to me. I can appreciate that as a parent. And and the only thing that's missing from that clip is just Darko saying, "Thanks." One of those FFS.
Oh my god. Yeah, I love it. It's like, hey, come over here. Did you see that? Yeah, no. Are you gonna make eye contact with me? Oh yeah, you saw what happened. Oh, okay, good. Let's not do this next time. I loved it. I love that people are having fun with it online. Fun Guy is back in Toronto tomorrow when we talk about fun. The Raptors' next game is against the Clippers in Toronto with Kawhi Leonard. So we will see what happens there. We have a lot of NBA news that we will get to maybe later in the show, but we need to talk about what's happening in Vegas. Like I mentioned, there's some kind of hockey game happening tonight. I think the Leafs are taking on the Golden Knights, where a player named Mitch Marner, who spent almost a decade with the Leafs, are taking on each other for the first time. Have you guys heard about the storyline yet?
No, what is it? What's going on?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me.
I don't know.
No. Okay,
like a hometown boy who loved playing for his hometown team and then scoring them by leaving in free agency. I hadn't heard about this story.
Yeah, okay. It's been talked at nauseum. We're having fun right now, and we're going to join the conversation because it's what's happening right now. It's the biggest conversation in Leafs land, and it's a game that they're also hoping to win after getting their butts slapped, spanked, whatever you want to say in Utah. But here's what Mitch Marner had to say about the matchup tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs and if he's thought about it.
I haven't thought about it until right now. Been trying to just focus on our games, focus on who we play in the next opponent. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure on the plane ride home it's going to hit more that that's tomorrow night. And yeah, I don't think I got to look at it any different. Just look at it as another hockey game and, just try to go out there and do my thing.
Yeah, and I don't eat chips for breakfast.
Never thought about this, but Jonas Siegel from The Athletic was here a month ago talking to me about it. But no, I haven't thought about it at all.
I'm pretty heated this morning, guys. I'll be honest. I am.
I think a lot of Leaf fans are pretty. They're getting hyped up for these 2 games against Mitchie in the next 8 days.
But I think I'm heated for the opposite reason of Leafs fans, and it's at Leafs fans. So
go on,
Dan.
Sorry.
Like,
no.
I was gonna let you guys.
You can start this off, Linz.
Okay, let me
you
get
went
on
down
my
the road.
Let her cook. Let's go.
You started down the road. Let's hear it. I want it.
I'm actually furious right now, and I'm going to bring the thing of like, hey, this is where we are at as a society, where we are actively hating and wishing death threats online and in person to a mother beeping player who played for his hometown team, was somebody who rarely missed a game, rarely complained about having injuries, and showed up for this team. Yes, you may say, oh, he didn't show up in the playoffs. He was still there. He wanted to play here. He played here. So many people online wishing death to his wife and to him. You're giving really little man energy. And I'm not talking about your height. I'm talking about the thing between your legs. But I'm not going to say that because my mom is listening right now. The fact that somebody who had the option in their contract to have a no trade clause and decided not to go to Carolina, and your butt hurt about that, then in their contract and free agency, when they rightfully can choose to go somewhere else, you're super pissed off of that. More so, I see a lot of these people, when I went and looked at their Twitter to see who they're supporting, some of them supporting guys who have been not banned from other leagues for domestic violence and not spewing hate on them. I pity you. I feel sorry for you that you have so much hate in your heart over a player who, by the way, during the pandemic, made sure that the first responders had food and adequate supplies outside of the multiple hours that they were working. Politely, but not so politely, F you. Also, a player that in his own spare time during the holidays has continuously held toy drives to make sure that kids and families who can't afford presents, they would get presents. Oh, and then remember when his car and his wife, they were hijacked in Toronto? Rather than making a huge deal about it, the media were the one that leaked it. He addressed what happened, but then, oh, guess what he did? He went and started raising money for people dealing with any kind of mental health ailments to try to give them resources. So if you are extremely butthurt and wishing somebody death because of this, you need to check yourself, because go look at the shitstorm of a world we live in. There are worse things in life than a player leaving a team that you like, choosing to go somewhere else. And I'm pissed that he's going to get booed and gets treated the way he does online for those reasons alone. And honestly, I'm shaking. I'm so freaking mad right now, because it was after Jonas's article that people just said, like, they were wishing death to his wife, to his kid, to his family. You can be pissed off and boo at him for leaving your team. That's fine. But to have death threats in that, honestly, go F yourself. I'll get off my soapbox.
Talk that talk, Lindsay Dunn. Beautifully said.
Okay.
Dan, would you like to respond, or can I jump in?
You can go ahead, Cab.
The same fans that extol the virtue of hockey being the ultimate team game, it's about the logo on the front of the sweater, not the name on the back of the sweater. Suppress your personality, hockey player, and put the team first. The Stanley Cup trophy, the Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win in sports. In the next breath, those same fans will blame one player on a team's shortcoming, for a team's shortcoming. This guy makes such and such, this guy makes that, and blaming one guy. So which one is it? Is it the team, or is it the team game, or is it the blame game? For a solid 5 years, Mitch Marner is a top 5 or 6 player in the NHL. It's Connor, it's Leon, it's Mitchie, Austin, it's Kale, and it's Nate. That's the list. Maybe you throw in Vasilevsky or Shesterkin or Bobrovsky afterwards as like a Russian goaltender, but that's basically the list for five years. Mitch Marner set a Maple Leafs record, registering a point in 23 straight games. And that's the guy you want to run out of town? Budweiser needs to send him 5 cases of Bud Lights or whatever it was, because he has assisted on 122 of Austin Matthews' goals in his career. And that's the guy you guys want to run out of town? The guy, as Lindsay mentioned, bro got carjacked coming out of a movie in Etobicoke. And that's the guy you guys want to run out of town. A lunatic on the internet publishes his home address, and that's the guy you guys chose to run out of town. And finally, in his final season in Toronto, Mitch Marner registered 102 points for the Maple Leafs. The next highest point total on the team was 84, is William Nylander. And Mitchie's the guy the media and the fans ran out of town. When Toronto opened its season, losers of 5 of 8, and then 3 weeks later, Toronto lost 8 of 10, bottom of the Atlantic, the fan base is indignant. The guy you ran out of town is the point per game player in Mitch Marner. Personally, I think everybody owes this dude an apology, and I'm with you, Lindsay. I don't know if it's quite waving the flag for Mitch Marner, but he's a human being, and this guy's an incredible hockey player, and that's the guy you chose to run out of town.
So I hear everything you guys are saying, and it's all valid points. Like, you can't take away that Mitch Marner, you look at what he put on paper for 9 years in the post-expansion era of the NHL. He's one of the greatest Leafs to have ever donned the blue and white. What is he? 4th all-time in assists, 6th all-time in points, a hometown kid drafted in the top 5. This guy should have been somebody that graduates to getting his number put into the rafters and ends up on Legends Row. And I mean, look, Matt Sundin went out with not the greatest of relationships with the fan base. He made it back. You know, they started to love him again. Vince Carter, how ugly was that breakup between the Raptors and Vince Carter? They made up. His number is now in the rafters and is the first Raptors jersey number that has been retired. Maybe there is a future where everybody can get rid of these wounds that have happened over the last 12 plus months and realize how great of a player Mitch Marner was on the ice for the team, especially in regular season games. The biggest reason Marner became the scapegoat and became that guy that the fan base really honed in on was a couple of things. You know, you are the hometown kid that all of a sudden did not longer want to play in your hometown. There's that, which I understand from the fan base. There's also the idea that Mitch didn't play well in the playoffs. And it's factually true. Games 5, 6, and 7 of series in the playoffs, when the Leafs would notoriously crumble. And it's not only on Mitch, but he had 0 goals in 20 plus tries in games 5, 6, and 7 of playoff series. He was and became the face of the playoff failures, more so than William Nylander, who has incredible playoff numbers for this team, more so even than Austin Matthews, who also has struggled in the playoffs, but did score a goal in game 6 against the Florida Panthers last year that helped the Leafs extend that series. It is unfair to a certain level. Of course it is. Most of professional sports, and the way that we here on this show and most media talk about professional athletes, it can be unfair. These are the 0.01% of athletes on the planet. Mitch Marner is freaking incredible, and it's sad that this story isn't ending with his jersey in the rafters, or that it hasn't continued because of these playoff failures, and that he ends up having to be the one piece of the core 4 that has to move on. Whether it's his choice or the Leafs, it was probably more on him. I think Brad Treliving would have kept Mitch Marner around if he was open to staying in Toronto. And that's why this has gone the way that it's gone. There is no absolving anybody online that's hiding under some kind of fake name and fake photo on Twitter or wherever else that's shit posting Mitch Marner and posting his address online. There is no excuses for that. But when you're a celebrity, when you're the level of superstar in today's day and age, that's part of the business. You know, if Josh Allen throws a pick 6 to end the game on Sunday against the Denver Broncos, guess what Bills Mafia is going to do? They're going to treat their franchise quarterback unfairly. There's going to be shit posting like crazy about Josh Allen online, and it's unfair. That is the world that we live in. The majority of Leaf fans embraced Mitch Marner. and embraced what he meant to the team as a homegrown talent. And because of the few that were overly harsh, that did cross lines, that were incredible, that shouldn't exist really in this world, that really is what crushed the fan base and crushed this relationship. The loud few, whether it's on Twitter or whatever else, that's what ended up really hurting this relationship. And that's what's on the line in these next 8 days. It all comes back to the forefront. It's meeting up with your ex randomly at the club and like, ooh, this is ugly. That's what's happening and what's going to play out tonight. And I understand where you guys are coming from, but I also understand where the fan base is coming from on this. And it's unfortunate that Mitch was made the scapegoat of it all, but I think it's also unfair to the majority of fans that they're being made to feel like it's their fault Mitch Marner wanted to leave Toronto.
What I will take out of all of this is we will all feel so much better when the Leafs win some playoffs games and hopefully the Stanley Cup. That will solve all of our wounds and we will all be okay. Also, by the way, Dan, I will never see my ex at a club because that guy was a schmuck. There's no way he would be going to the club at any time. Yeah, we're throwing shade. Great conversation.
I'm way too old to be making club references for the record as well.
Well, it depends what kind of club. It could be the club at the airport lounge. It could be like the Air Canada lounge. It could be, I don't know what other club. Golf club. It could be the pickleball club, the curling club.
Fair.
Costco.
Pickleball club. Costco club. Oh man.
There is an issue like
yes, sir.
I just want to close this off. Like there is an issue and fan bases do this everywhere. It's not just Toronto, but there is an issue with Toronto fans and like wearing the years of unsuccessful playoff drives, right? The 50 plus years, 1967, all of it. There is an issue with like eventually they turn on their star players. And again, it happened with Sundin. It happened with Vince Carter. It started to happen this year with Austin Matthews until recently when they got on the win streak. Mitch Marner was obviously the biggest one. But it's unfortunate that that's the way that it turns out. I just, I'm curious what's going to happen, especially next week when he returns to Toronto.
Yeah, he's going to get booed. He's going to get booed really loud.
He is.
Yeah, and there'll be some people that cheer, and I think it will. This relationship with Mitch will get worse if, say, the Golden Knights are in the playoffs and he scores a bunch of goals. So we'll see how these storylines unfold. But when we want to see a lot of goals score, I know we would like to see the Toronto Maple Leafs score a bunch tonight after not scoring so many when they were in Utah and got, what was the performance? Belt to ass, I believe is the term.
Yep.
Yeah. When we look at this actual game tonight, Cabbie, I'll start with you. What would you like to see from the Buds today in Vegas?
How do they slow down Mark Stone? Mark Stone has scored 8 goals in 9 games. Like that's basically where I'm at. Vegas is built to win. They're built for the playoffs. And Jack Eichel's been awesome. Thomas Hertl's been great.
Heater, man.
How can they slow them down? And there was a huge win in LA last night. It's a back-to-back, so there's an opportunity for Toronto who might have fresher legs to get an early jump, but I want to see how they contain Mark Stone right now.
Yeah, Vegas, they won 6 in a row. Eichel's on fire. Mark Stone's on fire. Mitchie had a couple of points last night. The team seems to like it's
and a goal.
Really starting
Mitchie's
to come.
Scored a PP goal too. Sorry.
Yeah, so he's starting to get going. He hasn't had the point production you would expect of a $12 million player so far in Vegas, even though they're in first place. So that really helps. I think for the Leafs, like, okay, you had the great performance against Colorado, letdown spot, and also like sneakily like a look ahead spot to the game against Mitch and the Vegas Golden Knights that's going to happen here tonight. But you had your stinker. How do you bounce back? How do you find that form that you had during the 10-game point streak, winning 8 of 10, and also how you need to keep winning to keep up with the Joneses in the Atlantic Division. Buffalo wins last night. They take your playoff spot away. Ottawa's getting hot after the craziness that happened there last week. So you have to keep winning. this is a non-negotiable if you're going to get to the playoffs. And so the Leafs need to find their game again after they had that stinker. I'm looking for also some physicality. They've really shown that they can be a physical team. They did that, have done it. Got to find that again. And also we'll see if there's how cordial it is with Mitch Marner, or if there's some physicality that happens as part of that whole storyline as well.
I want to see Mitch to drop the gloves right on the opening face-off, as well as Austin Matthews. I want them to fight each other.
Mitchie against Austin?
I don't know. Austin Matthews. Drop the gloves. Let's see what happens.
Maybe an AI. That'd be or a movie. I don't know. It feels like a movie scene or a scene from a movie. Yeah. Crazier things have happened, so who knows?
Yeah, you never know. I would like to see Morgan Rielly and William Nylander have a much better game than when we saw last time. And I know everyone's been on the Morgan Rielly train and giving him a lot of shit, but I would really like to see some productive moments from him on the ice, and I'll leave it at that before I go down the train on that. But when we talk about productivity, well, let me tell you, the Rangers, not so much. Dan pointed out this stat in our chat that they're the latest crisis club. They've been blown out again at home, and they're 5-14 on home ice. And Dan, you have some other wild stats about the Rangers.
Yeah, they have 44 goals on home ice so far this season, and 77 against. That's a minus 33 goal differential at MSG. So I'm not surprised they're chanting "Fire Drury," the GM, and also that they're getting booed mercilessly. I mean, they're out of answers. They were down 4-0 after the first period, and like their captain JT Miller is like, well, yeah, we didn't mean to be down 4-0 after the first, but I'm proud of the way that we fought back after. Like, you lost 8-4, and you lost 4 or 5 in a row now. You're bottom in the Metro Division. This has not been the season that the Rangers had hoped for. And unfortunately for JT Miller, the captain of that team, new captain of the New York Rangers, he is in the eye of the storm because he was supposed to be the leader of the culture change. And this team is one that looks like it's giving up right now. So it's ugly at MSG right now for the Rangers.
I am so excited to switch from this to talk about baseball, because we have a former Toronto Blue Jay fan favorite, played for more than a decade with them, 3-time Gold Glover, 3-time All-Star, Silver Slugger. We're talking about Vernon Wells. We welcome him to the show.
V-Dub!
What's up?
V-Dub!
What's going on?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I'm Lindsay. That's Dan. We already know you know Cabbie, but you did tweet that if somebody doesn't like the Bear, you can't be friends with them. So does that still stand? I'm just curious.
Oh. Yes, I would say so.
Oh,
yeah,
no!
Anything I tweet
Even
still
the last
stands.
season, bro?
So, yeah, even the last season. The Bear is, we're all about the Bear. So if you don't like the Bear, we can't be friends.
Well, I'm sorry that I just started. I've never watched the Bear. Yeah, I guess we're already not friends. Well, it's nice to not be your friend,
it's not a comedy, Vern. When it goes to award shows, it's listed as a comedy. It's not, to me, it's not. There's like some comedic relief, but it's not really a comedy. I love the show as well, though, by the way.
I completely agree with you. Completely agree.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, great. So you guys are best friends. Cabbie and I are best friends over here, but I have a couple things. We have a lot to talk to you about, and mine is not baseball quite yet, but you are an award-winning coach for football. And you did also tweet out that you're ready for your call from the Ravens. Is this going to be your year? There's a lot of empty coaching positions right now. Are we going to see you on the sidelines in the NFL, buddy?
Absolutely not. I wish. That would be a blast, but I don't think I can go from being a baseball player to being an NFL coach with no experience outside of high school. So, yeah, high school is one thing. Maybe a position like an assistant position coach in college probably would be a good first start, but going to the NFL would be a little ambitious, but why not? Let's try it.
And
why not?
And you probably got to start at a JUCO too. Sorry, Liz.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Maybe a D3 second assistant, maybe grad assistant, even though I haven't gone to college, like something along those lines.
We have full faith in you. You could do anything you put your mind to, including playing in the World Baseball Classic 20 years ago. What stood out to you with that experience? Because I know you didn't start off right away because you were dealing with injury, but is that I'm still upset about it, or it was a cool grunt?
First of all, you throwing out 20 years ago that hurts. So that brings
We're
me
really
back
not
to
friends.
I think it was the quad injury that thought I was going to not allow me to play in that tournament, but that tournament was a blast. First, being able to put on the jersey and have USA across my chest, and then sitting in a locker room with guys that at the time were just the best in the game, and the Hall of Famers and guys that I respected throughout. It was an awesome experience. I mean, you have Chipper Jones, you have Jeter, you have so many guys that you looked up to, and now you're sharing a clubhouse and a locker room with them. And I think as a player and as a fan of the game, I think people just don't really understand the respect level that even as peers we have for each other and the way that they go about their business. And listening to you guys talk about how the fans treat players, and I understand they can't relate, but you have to respect guys that are willing to put it out on the line. And you guys talking about hockey guys, that's a whole nother level of physicality, a whole nother level of sacrifice, and what you're willing to do on a nightly basis to help your team win, to take a city that's thirsting for a championship in Toronto and leave it out on the line. And if you don't succeed, you become the scapegoat. You become the person that everybody wants to point a finger at, even though, there's not one sport outside of, well, golf, obviously. It's a one-man sport, but that tennis and but basketball is really the only team-ish sport where one person can make that big of a difference. There's no other sport where hockey, football, baseball, one person can do it all. It doesn't matter whether you're Austin Matthews or me trying to skate, which would be epically horrible. That's why you don't see too many black people on the ice. But you got to respect anybody and everybody who puts on a professional uniform and understand that whoever it is and whatever level they're at, whether on the bench or playing, they are elite. There's only a certain amount of people that ever put on those professional uniforms, and they can walk into any gym, any rink, on any field and dominate whoever they're playing outside of some other professionals.
On that note, the work that goes in, I mean, you put in a ton of work. I mean, anybody that becomes an elite baseball player, elite professional athlete, there's a ton of work that goes in. But was there anybody like a teammate, somebody that stood out for how much or something crazy that they did on a day-to-day basis? I mean, we all heard the stories about Doc and how heavy he was into his game day routines, but like, was there anybody that stood out as far as the length they would go to just really tune their craft?
Well, I mean, you speak of Doc, and Doc, he's obviously at the top of that one. He was a psycho. Like, he was someone who, I mean, let's just be real. Like, I sat next to him on the bench one day when he wasn't pitching, and I'm kind of looking at him and watching him and looking at him. Still hadn't said a word for 6 innings. And I look at him and I said, you really don't like people, do you? He's like, looks at me straight face and says, no, and turns back and watches the game. So I'm like, okay, I guess so. That's it. So wow. He was worried about one thing. He was worried about one thing, and that was, I'm going to figure out anything and everything to dominate my opponents, and I'm probably going to go run a couple miles. I'll come back. I'll eat a celery stick and go run a couple more miles and go throw a bullpen just for the sake of, I just want to go throw another bullpen. So that's why he was who he was, and no one that I ever saw or played with or heard of can match just the level of intensity that he brought to the game.
I want to ask you about another former teammate, Carlos Delgado. He got 9 of 12 votes by the contemporary committee to maybe get into the Hall of Fame. Looks like, next time that comes around, it could happen for him. What made Delgado so good, especially at the plate? And also, is he a Hall of Famer in your eyes?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, for me personally, he was instrumental in helping me become the player that I became, and getting a chance to hit behind him and then hit in front of him. My first full season in the big leagues, we talked about so many different things, and he was a student of the game. literally keeping a book on all kinds of things that he just experienced, every pitch that he saw, every pitcher that he faced. He knew exactly what was going to happen each and every at bat. He had a plan for how to attack each and every pitcher. And you look at his numbers speak for themselves. And as an individual, as a person, those are the type of people you root for, because he's just a good dude. Like, he cares about people. He respects people. He respected the game. He's someone that if you were to ask just the type of people you want to represent the hall, be a Hall of Famer, and have their bust in that realm of athletes, he deserves to be there. And hopefully people will come to their senses and just look at his overall body of work and understand that there's not too many left-handed hitter that did what he did. And he was, the 4 home run game stands out for me just as a memory. But our conversations that we would have, just getting ready for games, getting ready for an at bat, are what I remember the most.
The science, I imagine you guys would get into about how to approach each and every AB or plate appearance or every game would be fascinating to hear. But we got our chat here on YouTube bringing up your 2003 stats. Even I was looking at your baseball reference last night just to go over your numbers. 2006, you were over a 6-win player, which is an unbelievable season by today's standards when we look at WAR. And that year, you guys, I think, you had 87 wins that year as a team. You finished second in the AL East. I got to know, how much do you wish Major League Baseball had expanded the postseason earlier than they did, Vernon?
Oh yeah, I think the narrative would have been a lot different about those years with the same playoff setup as it is now. You say we won 87 games, and I think we're still 10 games back of the Yankees that year, which just shows hey, we finished second and we still suck apparently because we didn't make the playoffs. So that was the nature of the game back then. The East back then is what it is now. It's the East is the beast. Like, at that time, playing each other 19 times a year, you as a competitor and as a fan, I loved going in Yankee Stadium. I loved going into Fenway. I loved going in there and just doing everything we could to beat those Giants. That's who they were at that time. They were the beasts of the East, and we had to scratch and claw and do everything we could to put ourselves in a position to do that. And ultimately, our roster just wasn't deep enough. We would hit some years and not pitch as well, and we'd pitch better and not hit as well. So when you're in that division at that time, the way things were structured, the playoff system the way it was, you had no room for injuries, you had no room for going through bad streaks, and that was just the nature of who we were and what we were at that time. And you look at the construction of the roster now and the things that they're doing as an organization, that narrative has changed, and it's fun to watch.
On that note, is it funny seeing that the Jays are kind of the bully in the division right now, spending more money than the Yankees and the Red Sox this offseason, and maybe even more as we're hearing reports?
Yeah, I love it. I loved the Steinbrenner days of the Yankees. People hated it, but I loved that ownership saw an opportunity to stay at the top and understood what it meant to continue to try to be that organization that dominates in that division in the American League, and hopefully continue to fight to be in a World Series each and every year. And when you get to that point, and ownership and your front office and the players are all working together in a way that we want to be the best every year. This isn't a one-year thing. And I think when you look at the construction of that roster last year, I didn't think that same roster could repeat what they were going to just repeat what they did last year, because I think you had some guys who had some years that you weren't expecting. Now you continue to add, you add pitching, you're continuing to try to add bats and even more bats, and hopefully bring a bat back in Bo. I think you start to look at the construction of a roster that's going to be a perennial power in that division, and that's that's all you can ask for as a player, that your front office and your ownership are willing to do that.
V-Dub, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I want to take us back a little bit and just have a look at this video, sir.
Oh, gosh.
This is the disc of all discs right here. Cabbie on the street. You gotta get your copy when it's in the stores. Never.
Vernon, tell me about the game. Why'd you strike out 3 times?
So if you could implement instant replay into your own personal life, would you?
Tell me, Vernon.
You could even take it back to, like, if you're writing a test and you can replay to what the smart girl did in the multiple choice on the Scantron card, see what she got so you can get a nice mark too.
On her chest too.
What are some of the stranger things you've seen in the stands or at games while playing, whether you're either in the dugout or actually on the field?
Boobs. First of all, it's not a good question to answer.
Why?
Because, man, a setup. It's a setup. Get you trapped.
I'm not.
Not you.
Yeah.
Wifey. Showing some boobs.
How was the talent?
I was in the dugout, and I wasn't looking. I don't look at things like that. So after a rough 0 for 5 day with 4 strikeouts, what were you thinking?
Well, basically, I was just, it wasn't my day.
And it really doesn't matter what he thinks.
Yeah, it's a narrative that continues to this day. It really doesn't matter what I think. What do you remember about this time? So this is kind of 2006 to 2008-ish.
Yeah, you just up close and personal in my face, just all in my personal space. Like, I feel like our conversations never had a point to them, and it was so much fun to have interviews with you because I didn't know where you were going. I don't remember saying boobs as often as I said boobs, and thankfully I didn't get in trouble for those things. But yeah. Cabbie, you and I always it was fun to see your face. It was fun to have conversations with you. Anytime I saw you were around, because you're a busy man. I mean, sometimes you're too good for us because when we were bad, you didn't seem to be around as much. Or when you were around and we were bad, you'd be making fun of me. So there's some times I wanted to slap you, like being so close to me like that. I don't allow too many people in my personal space like that. But we were close enough to where I mean you're damn near kissing me. So it was, obviously I love you. So
hey, listen, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to violate your personal space without consent. But anyway, I want to take you back to that era in your life, and to give the audience a better sense of what your life was like. Take us behind the curtain of when you signed your first big money deal. Like, who are you texting? Who's texting you? Like, where are you getting intel from? And then transition from that to like when you got traded, because as you mentioned, the Blue Jays front office this year, and even the past off season, just making these big moves. And just as someone who's gone through signing a big deal and being traded or playing on another team, give us some of that perspective so that the audience can really understand what your life and and your contemporaries are like.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is people never understand when contracts are signed or trades happen, and like signing the deal, the biggest deal. It was just at that time. I remember signing it, and I got the call on my birthday that the Blue Jays agreed to the deal, which was awesome. Have the press conference after signing, and someone asked me if I thought I was worth that amount of money, and I said no. I didn't think anybody was worth that amount of money, but that's what the market bared at the time. So you sign the deal, and I think from an outside perspective, people think, oh yeah, so you signed for that amount of money, you're going to be a better player. It's like, no, I'm still the same person. You're actually getting older, which means your body's going to start deteriorating at some point. But you do everything you can to try to play that contract out. And mentally, I think is the hard part of not trying to do too much. Not trying to be any different than you were before. And now when I talk to guys that sign deals, and if I know them or I have their number, I'll shoot them a text. It's just, hey, the number is what the number is. Just don't change anything. Continue to be who you are. Don't allow that to play a factor in how you go about putting any more pressure on yourself, because the game's already hard enough. So just go out and be yourself. And with trades are something that people don't really talk about, just the uprooting of a family, uprooting, moving from a place. And in my case, of the Blue Jays were my home, drafted in '97, traded after 2010. And that change going from Toronto to Anaheim, you think, yeah, it's a great move at the time, because the Blue Jays were going in a different direction. They're rebuilding, and obviously not wanting to pay me that amount of money, which I can respect. And the Angels were in a position to try to do something different. But it's just, you're completely out of your routine. You're completely out of your comfort zone. You're in a situation, you're in a place that, yeah, you love to be in, but it's just not necessarily home. It's not what you've been doing for 10 years. And it's a giant change. And then on top of that, you're trying to prove that the trade was worth it and all those things. And it's just, there's so many things that go into it mentally that there is no space for in the game of baseball. Like, I think, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion, whoever steps in a batter's box, the hardest thing to do in any sport is hit a baseball. And it only gets harder. 7-99, it's like, you can't compare what happens just over the course of my time playing. So the pressures that people from the outside don't understand is something that, as a player, you just don't allow yourself, you can't allow yourself to even factor into how you go about your business on a day-to-day basis, just because there's only been, 26,000 people who have ever put on a big league uniform. And to think of what that number means in the grand scheme of things, it's astronomical. And you love every moment of it. You try to relish every moment of it, the good and the bad. Getting booed at home, which sucks, but getting booed on the road is great. Getting booed at home is takes some it takes some fire to be able to get through it. Sometimes you got to enjoy it. And make jokes about it. And I think that was some of my time with the Blue Jays. It was like a family. Like, you love some of your family, you hate some of your family, you don't want to be around some of your family, and then all of a sudden they love you again. So it's just, especially when a contract is signed like that, you go through those ebbs and flows, and you embrace all of it.
Speaking of contracts, what do you imagine life is like right now for Kyle Tucker or Bo Bichette, who are about to get the bag? And in Bo Bichette's case, if he doesn't sign with Toronto, and then when he returns to play in Toronto, he might face some boos. But anyway, what do you think life is like for these two players at this time as they're making a giant life decision?
Free agency is crazy. Fortunately, I never had an opportunity to go through it. I signed deals before I got to arbitration. I signed deals before I got to free agency. And when I got released by the Yankees, it was time to be done. But for those guys, they're getting pulled in every different direction. They're hearing every pitch from every team that wants to contend, that wants your services. I can't imagine just the whirlwind of phone calls and conversations that are being had. I'm privy to a little bit of Bo's, but don't know anything about what's going on with Tuck. I mean, both of them are going to end up in spots that they want to be in, that they deserve to be in, and hopefully with an organization, hopefully with the Blue Jays that are going to embrace them. But it's something that MLB free agency, I guess all free agency, it's a circus. And I think for Bo, him being a lifelong Blue Jay, that's going to be probably the hardest one. Tuck's been around a little bit and got a chance to have a change. So having change for him is going to be easier going to a different organization, but it's going to be a lot of money. And for them, it's not as much money as Vladdy got. Vladdy got a whole boatload of money, which was really, I was like, man, that's a
he got a whole
contract.
Branch for himself.
Yeah,
$500 million.
He's wealthy. If you look at my contract, maybe I was rich. He was wealthy. Like, he can pay for me. So that's the difference.
Well, when we talk about the bag that Tucker and Bo will get and that Vladdy got, I'm curious what kind of bag you got for an iconic moment in Jays history. Play the video.
Okay, you're it. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
I remember this one.
Yes.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ready?
And you look quick in this commercial, Vern.
Yeah, bro, you are flying. Or the stunt
Did
double.
you
Man,
use
I
a
was-
stunt double to go into the garbage can? Did you do the
Absolutely,
jump,
absolutely
man?
not. Absolutely not. No, that was all me. Thankfully, it wasn't a real garbage can. I wouldn't have done that. That would have been a stunt double. But yeah, those were fun times because the way we would do things back then, it was just trying to get fans to just see a different side of us. Yeah, so yes, I was on the bigger side of center fielders because I was a football player that also played baseball. So people thought, oh yeah, I mean he's maybe not as fast because he's bigger. And Torrey Hunter thought the same thing. We're working out one off season, and he wanted to race me. I said, okay, that's fine. I beat him by a step and a half in a 40, so no big deal. I'm just throwing that out there. It was
Amazing.
That's why I didn't really have to dive for many balls because, yeah, I was faster than people thought just because I was a little thicker. No big deal. I'm not going to say I was big boned, but I was a little thicker.
Thick with 2 C's.
I love the commercial and something about that time and within Blue Jays lore. Somebody recently posted on Twitter how, they feel like you deserve so much more respect for the numbers you put up, but they feel like, it was kind of bogged down because you played during an era where the Jays had the ugliest jerseys. So I need you to settle the debate. Were the jerseys ugly?
They weren't the best. Were they the worst? Maybe. I don't think they're the worst. I don't know if the black was trying to maybe be a little bit more intimidating. I don't know. I think it is what it is. We went through an era where we had to learn some things in an organization of what worked and what didn't. But I mean, you speak of numbers and you speak of those things. You look at, I don't know, somebody pointed out to me the top 5 in all the major categories in organization, and somehow my name is still near the top or at the top of a lot of those. And they asked me about the level of excellence and all that stuff, and it's out of my hands. I mean, it would be great to be up there, but sometimes it's like I never played for the Blue Jays, so I don't even know. I live my life in Texas and get to talk to people like y'all and have a good time with it and reminisce about some of the old days. And yeah, I wish there was some more winning that took place. And if there was more winning that took place at that time, I think the conversation would be different. But I did everything I could to help that happen, and so did the guys around me. So what I take from that time is relationships that we had, that I made, that I formed, the close and intimate conversations I had with Cabbie, and just the fun life of being in that city and watching it grow, watching the organization go through different times and see what I think organizations go through things like that and learn things and make changes to be where they are today.
Well, we appreciate your time. We had you on for a long time. The last thing I want to ask you about, because you mentioned how you live in Texas now. What is the Texas lifestyle for you? Like after this call, are you hopping on a horse in some assless chaps with a cowboy hat going, yeah?
Yes.
If that were ever to happen, it would never be caught on video. And if I were to walk off this call and do that, I would expect one of you to kick me where it hurts and do it repeatedly until I get off that horse and take those boots off. Yes.
It's a great visual for it. It's a great visual,
yeah.
V-Dub.
Wow.
And listen, we'll just have to make sure to install some cameras in the crib because I kind of think that maybe it's happened before. Don't you live on like 6 acres of land or something like that? Don't you own horses?
Heck no, I don't own horses. I got 2 dogs. Does that count? I don't know if that counts.
Yep.
I'm not riding them. That'd be weird.
If they're a Great Dane, maybe, but if they're like a little Pomeranian, then not so much.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that to my dogs. I love my dogs, and there'd be too much weight on their backs.
Yeah, I love.
Now we're getting into a weird space.
Yeah, I know. I love what Lindsay did there. Just
conversation with Cabbie. So.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so maybe someday. You and George Springer riding horses, bro. World Series parade.
Cabbie.
Yes.
You were asking me about Scantrons in a baseball stadium. Like, how random. Like, I don't even know where your mind was at the time. Now that I go back and look at see those and remember our conversations, like,
yeah,
I don't know. I guess we were close enough to where you could just off the top of your head just come up with something and try to confuse me, and most of the time you did. So
yeah, I'm a weirdo. Like I'm a weirdo. There was and there are many other moments that exist on the internet that I didn't bring up, but I'm happy that you were always agreeable and you didn't actually punch me in the face, because then that would have shattered me forever, and I don't know if we would not be having this conversation today, and I probably would have went to jail for it actually. But if we think about it, but I do appreciate all those moments that you gave, and finally, the ultimate. You did me an ultimate solid, bro. And we had a conversation with you, Matt Sundin, and Chris Bosch. The only time you guys have ever done an interview together, and you had a trip planned to Niagara Falls with your family, and because you had agreed to it like 3 weeks before, a month before, you turned the car around and you came back and you did the interview. So you are a stand-up guy from then until now. So I thank you so much for that. And I did thank you a lot in the moment, but just thinking about it again, you're a real G. And thank you for all the time and the moments and the fun that you allowed me to have with you, making you feel very uncomfortable. And making and giving the audience a different side of your personality. So thank you, my brother. Thank you.
No. You're one of my guys, and I mean, I think that's something that I try to always. You know me. I wanted to treat everybody the same. Like I was just another person that got a chance to put on a baseball uniform. Didn't make me any different. Didn't make me any better than anyone else. I was still a kid that loved playing a game. And fortunate enough to do it at a high level, and hopefully bring anybody and everybody I could along for the ride and be a part of it. So I truly enjoyed all of our moments, Cabbie, and any moment I had a chance to spend with people, just hopefully put a smile on their face or make them feel better about wherever they were at that time in their life.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining us this morning. You are a lovely human being, and I'm really happy that we also got to talk about boobs today. So enjoy the rest of your day. Go get on that horse, Vernon. We appreciate you, buddy.
Appreciate
Thanks, B-Dub.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Vernon.
Yeah. Wonderful,
what a legend.
Wonderful person with some great stories, and I hope everyone enjoyed that visual that he gave you and we all gave you. But we do need to talk a little bit about what's happening tonight, so let's get to your Proline picks of the day. When watching your favorite sports, make things interesting with Proline. Must be 18 plus to bet in store, 19 plus online, and for people who live in Ontario, please play responsibly. Dan, what do you have?
Oh, we're looking at the big game of the night. The Maple Leafs visiting Mitch Marner and the Vegas Golden Knights. Mitchie's first game against his former club. And I think Austin Matthews, he's been buzzing lately, even against Utah. He had a number of chances. He still looks like the old Austin Matthews. I think he gets on the scoreboard tonight with Vegas playing on the second half of a back-to-back. Leafs need to get back in the win column. They'll be led by their captain tonight.
I hope we see a 4-3 overtime game tonight, Dan. These picks are for entertainment purposes only, and when you're hot, you're hot. Ethan Frank from Papillon, Nebraska is on a mini heater. The homie has scored 4 goals in 3 games, including 2 against Montreal last night. The Washington Capitals are home to San Jose tonight, which on paper should be a high-scoring affair. Give me Ethan Frank to score an anytime goal tonight.
Well, I hope you both are right, and I hope everyone joins us tomorrow. Thank you for joining us in the chat. You were entertaining. We appreciate the debate you had with us, or however you joined us. Make sure to go to YouTube, like, and subscribe under the Nation Network. Tomorrow, we'll be talking about the Leafs and that game that, again, they played against some guy named Mitch Marner. We're going to talk about Raptors taking on the fun guy in Kawhi, and we are going to be having on award-winning artist Jade Eagleson for a fun conversation. See you all tomorrow for Off the Roster.
Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more Off the Roster content, make sure to like and hype this video and subscribe to the Nation Network YouTube channel.